Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Aaron Hilliard. Welcome to Mushroom Wonderland. Let's go out in the woods and see what kind of mushrooms we can find growing along the trail. Come with me and my dog Gunner. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And let's go see what's growing in Mushroom Wonderland.
Welcome to Mushroom Wonderland.
We look right down here, we have a Dyer's polypore, last year's fruiting Phaeolus schweinitzii. It's kind of fuzzy feeling on top, very soft, kind of like velvet. And they use these for dyeing clothes, talk about them a lot on the channel. This is a beautiful little one. So these are an annual mushroom. This is last year's fruiting, so it's dead. And, you know, it's dropped a million spores, and it's also decaying the butt of one of the trees here and being somewhat parasitic. So if you have these popping up on a live fir tree or a hemlock in your yard or something, probably means the tree's on the way out. So keep that in mind. The Dyer's polypore, when they're younger, you can collect them to dye protein fabric like silk and wool. Make some pretty colors, natural dyeing. So pretty neat. Look at all of these Alpine jelly cones. These ones are pretty big. Look at that guy. I don't usually see him quite that big. Really well attached. Let's see what this tastes like. It doesn't taste like anything. It's just gelatinous. I don't know. Nothing to it. Nothing special about it. But it's not bad. So there's that. He's out exploring. He must have smelled something good. There's a lot of beavers in here. Look at this growing right here in the beginning of March. Handsome mushroom. This one is equal opportunity. It grows fall, winter, summer, spring. It really doesn't care. Saprobic mushroom. This one's related to wine caps. Oh look, it's got some really cute little friends growing right next to it. Some little mycena probably. But this guy is known as the Stropharia ambigua. The ambiguous Stropharia. Look at that texture on the stipe. And then got them dark gills. It's because there's dark spores. Dark purple brown spores. So related to the wine cap, you know, the actual the magic mushroom that you would buy at a Grateful Dead concert or something, was once in the same genus as this. It was thought to be related because of these dark spores. It used to be called Stropharia cubensis. But anyways, this one is Stropharia ambigua. I heard it tastes like grass clippings or leaves or something like that. I don't know. No good for eating really. But a handsome mushroom to see growing trailside here in March. This forest in autumn, the second week of October, is teeming with so many species of mushrooms. You wouldn't believe it. Oh, pretty. Look at the Sterium growing here on this log. Your false turkey tail. Pretty. Very pretty. Sure is pretty in here. There's nice, beautiful Douglas fir. These beautiful little Fomitopsis Monsier. I love the way that that's growing, and you can see that white stuff is the mycelium growing in this log. Look, here's some other ones. Pretty ones. Kind of a unique form of Fomitopsis right here. They're really liking this western hemlock old log. All of this kind of weird crust. I think this is Rhodofomes, or perhaps some kind of Trichaptum. It's very black. But you can also see the Dacromyces chrysospermus, orange jelly fungus growing here on conifer logs in the northwest. Some people call it witch's butter, and that's fine. You know, that's one thing about common names. A lot of different species of mushroom get called witch's butter. This one's edible. You could eat it right off the log, just like that, and you could eat it raw. Somebody out in this forest likes to make these little leaf faces and leave them everywhere. So on another video, I find like a purple cortinarius, and laying next to it is a couple of these leaves, and everybody commented on that video. So it's not that rare here. They're pretty cool. You could do that too, but pretty common around here, almost to the point where it starts to look like litter when you see them everywhere. It's like, all right, we get it. Pretty cool. So these mushrooms growing right here on this log, you might think, oh, those are turkey tails. You know, they've got the concentric rings. If you look underneath, they actually have a pore surface. But when we look at the substrate, at the actual log that they're growing on, this is an old western hemlock. So this is a conifer. Trametes versicolor grows on hardwood. And so the softwood, or the one growing here, here's more of them. Some of them fell off. Also, because they have this greenish tinge to them, they're growing a lot of algae on them. Trametes versicolor typically doesn't grow that kind of algae, but these ones often are green. This is Trichaptum, but they look like a turkey tail. They're non-toxic, but I've never heard anybody trying to use these medicinally like they would use Trametes versicolor. So on the softwood, you're looking at Trichaptum. Look at this. First signs of spring. We have daffodils starting to pop up. So that's always kind of exciting. I started to see the tips of some daffodils actually coming up a week ago. No flowers yet, but that is definitely a sign of spring to come. Look at this. They're old, but these are old earth stars in the gastriales. So look at that. It's like a puffball, and it gets this really cool star-shaped deal. So it's enclosed completely in this. Look at the spores are still coming out. So it's completely enclosed in this thing. And then it opens up, and they actually curl underneath, and they pop itself out of the ground of the forest, and now they can tumble along the path, and so they're like self-plucking. What a cool mushroom. There's another couple of them growing here, kind of underneath this log. There's another one up here. Looks like maybe somebody picked it and set it up there. But these didn't really get a chance to make it too far. But the earth star is an example of a mushroom that actually plucks itself from the ground. So pretty fitting on the upcoming cut or pluck video to consider some mushrooms will pluck themselves. Pretty cool. These are very beautiful when they're not old and beat up like this. One of the most unique and strange mushrooms, in my opinion. If you look how cool this is, growing on this really old conifer stump here. There's even ivy, a ton of moss, some other kind of conchs growing, but this one is called the varnished conch, or also commonly known as the reishi. So this is Ganoderma organense, and really beautiful. Actually, it looks like it's lacquered. Underneath it has a whitish porous surface, but this is last year's fruiting. It's hollow, probably full of bug tunnels and stuff right now. Dropping a ton of spores. So the reishi, a really, really medicinal mushroom. Very beautiful and always exciting to find. When you find these fresh, you can carefully remove them from the log, and they'll grow back on the same log year after year, and make them into tinctures, and a little bit goes a long ways. So kind of cool in March to be finding a reishi. Albeit last year's, it's still in pretty nice shape. It's very beautiful. Definitely will catch your eye when you're walking through the woods here. Right over here is a really cool log with a bunch of like foamy topsis. Look at these big blobs. So these are like related to the red-belted conch. Brown rot decayer eating the inside of that log. So a lot of these tree conchs growing out here in the forest right now, but always really an eye catcher to come across the Ganoderma organense. Related to the artist conch, but you can't draw on the surface of this like you can on Ganoderma applanatum. So here we go, another nice reishi mushroom. Fully matured, tons of spores have dropped out of this thing. Really, really prolific spore producers. Beautiful mushroom. Last year's fruiting body. This is definitely dead. No good anymore for medicinal stuff. But next year, this will be a good stump to come back to find more reishi mushroom. Look right here, this fern is like fused into it. Mushrooms are so cool that way. They can just grow around whatever they want. Ganoderma organense. Beautiful. Right down here growing amongst the needle duff, it looks like we have a Xeromphalina. So this is kind of a common winter mushroom. Really kind of orange. It's going to have a dark stipe. See that? And these are somewhat common mushrooms. Xeromphalina, growing on dead wood, in this case kind of buried wood down here. I've seen them growing in landscape bark and stuff like that. But a hardy little winter mushroom. They're beautiful. And yeah, they're so woody and so small that just consider it inedible. But Xeromphalina, these little, I think they're called like the pine litter glitter tail or something like that. I don't know. Common names are funny. But pretty little mushroom. Here's another Xeromphalina growing off of a little stick. In such a drab landscape this time of year, these little mushrooms really kind of stand out. But they're pretty far and few between. Growing right here off of this old maple log. Underneath some leaves here. You can see the other Ganoderma that's really common here. Ganoderma applanatum. So this is a younger one. Only one shelf. See some of them down here a little bit more knobbly. And we got one right there that's kind of more in that pancake stack formation. So some people confuse these for the agaricon, but no. Ganoderma applanatum, huge spore producer. They'll often be covered in this brown dust. They've been washed away by the rain a lot, but they'll keep growing for a long time, for years. They're not like the reishi that dies every year. These ones keep growing. So, the artist conch also, when you pick it, you can draw on the pore surface. Bruises really easily. So, beautiful mushrooms adorning the dead logs here in the forest of the PNW. Growing right down here at the base of this old stump. We got some mushrooms that have showed up in a lot of my videos. These ones really common in the genus Hyphaloma. So this is the Hyphaloma fasciculare, or the sulfur tuft. A quite poisonous mushroom that grows here. Just going to cause gastrointestinal upset. They glow really bright with UV light. And they like to grow in big clusters like this. So beautiful Hyphaloma grown in March. They're still out here. Saprotrophic, they like to grow all times of the year, it seems. If you didn't see the promo, I'm planning for next Sunday to be dropping a video titled "To Cut or Pluck," referring to probably the most debated question in mycology, especially amongst newcomers. Is it better to cut or to pluck a mushroom? I have all these awesome mycologists who are going to chime in on it, so make sure to tune in next Sunday to catch that video. Huge names: Alan Rockefeller, Paul Stammen, Sidney Ober-Singleton, Jack Johnson, Adam McRae. We got some cool people that chimed in on this video, so you don't want to miss that one. Make sure to hit subscribe and then hit that notification bell so you can get notified when new videos drop here on Mushroom Wonderland. You can also find Mushroom Wonderland on Patreon, and over there are some videos that wouldn't be allowed on YouTube. More mushroom videos about psychedelic mushrooms and psilocybin mushrooms, so go over there to check those videos out. And if you want to just help support what I do, you can just subscribe for $5 on Patreon, and it helps me to just keep doing what I'm doing. And you can also go to Rumble. It's a new platform, kind of like YouTube, and I guess it's got a little bit more freedom. I don't know, I'm new to that too. So Rumble, on Patreon, TikTok, Instagram mushroom.wonderland, TikTok mushroom wonderland with a 0 for wonder. And you know, you can find me on Facebook too, Mushroom Wonderland. So yeah, thanks for joining for sure. So thank you so much for joining us on this video, this little update video. Make sure to tune in for future videos, and much love, everyone. Peace out.